mercy, what a stop!
My goodness, what a save!
What a save! What a glove save there, but what a stop! Looked like a sure goal. You talk about an A-plus save and maybe the save of the night.
Welcome to the Goalie Science Podcast, where we break down the science of goaltending, coaching, and everything in between. I'm Dr. Jamie Phillips, former professional goalie, board-certified physical therapist, and goalie performance specialist, alongside my co-host, Derek Boujan, owner of Boujan Goaltending and On Ice Hockey Performance Center. Whether you're on your way to a game, gearing up for practice, or just tuning in, grab your favorite drink and let's drop the puck on this week's episode. Welcome to another episode of the Goalie Science Podcast. I believe this is 127. Now that we have gone 2 weeks in a row, we're back on the horse. I should know my numbers, but Bouge, we're back. We hopefully do not have any wedding hangovers, and we are almost in October, which is crazy to say.
Isn't it wonderful? Number one, I love fall. In Ontario, there's a drive down the 403, and I was lucky enough that my kid played a tournament in Brantford last weekend. And between like Ancaster and I say even Woodstock, just this a straight drive, but this all lined with trees. And this is the best time because they're all changing colors. And like it's a beautiful drive. Like I actually love doing that drive. And I got to do the first one was going to your wedding, and then I got to do it last weekend for tournaments. But I'm a big fall guy. I'm a big sweater, hide your belly type of guy. So big fan of sweater weather. So I'm getting into my best life right now. Are you wearing?
I can agree with that.
Hang on, I'm interrupting you. Are you wearing a hoodie that has no sleeves right now? What?
Yeah. So the coaches here at Ghost, we have sleeveless hoodies. And then I printed stuff, all the heat press, all the clothes, and my wife does too. And mine are usually crooked, hers are not. But all the coaches get like our coaches stuff with their names on it because the kids don't pay attention. And so on our names, but yeah, my goal for this winter is to actually add a little bit of size to my arms. It's a bold goal, but that's what we're looking for. So by just like having my pencil arms out all the time, I'm motivated to like go do some curls when I'm bored.
I feel like you trying to put on some size and make it look like you work out has been a goal of yours for the last 24 years.
You're not wrong. Actually, what's painful, I was talking to it with my coach, Ben, is I'm not weak. Like I'm not like a freak athlete by any means, but if I go to a normal gym, I am in the upper echelon of strength, which is sad to say. I am in the bottom echelon of muscle mass. And so it's like, which one would you rather have? And like, I can go and squat 225 for a lot of reps. And when I go to the gym, there's a lot of really strong people, or like that look really strong, that are struggling with 225 when I squat. And it makes me boost my strength ego, but then I take my shirt off and then I feel sad.
Don't we all? I'm on that don't take your shirt off train right now.
Yeah. So the goal is to not look, to make me look like I lift kind of this winter, add some size, and then shred for a High Rocks event next summer.
Good. That's wonderful. But I mean, Dave's going to see this and see that you're wearing a sleeveless hoodie, and he is going to be fully nipple hard erected because he's going to think it was his idea and that he is changing the world.
It kind of, because Dave has the sleeveless hammer strength, and I have one of them, and I wear it.
Like to go back 5 or 6 years ago when Jamie was still cool and would come to Canada, God's country, Dave, who we talk about on this pod, but we'll never have him on, who's a strength coach at my gym, ordered everybody sleeveless hoodies, and it became a thing in our gym, much to my chagrin, because I think it's ridiculous. I'm like, if you're going to just wear sleeveless, just go shirtless, like do it. So now like he is going to be on his high horse because he's completely influenced you and it's all his idea. And he is now a influencer.
I don't think Dave is an influencer by definition, but I did steal inspiration from him. I like it because I struggle with body temperature, and I am someone who likes sweater weather and fall weather too because it hides my pit stains. But it is great because I'm sometimes hot, sometimes cold. And so if I get cold, I throw the hood up. If I get hot, throw the hood down, and I'm still like breathing through the arms, so I can live with it. But I just keep this on the coat rack we have in the gym, and sometimes I put it on, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go hoodie, sometimes I don't. Coach Ben gave me this really sweet Chicago Blackhawks strength and conditioning staff shirt too. So basically signed a new ELC with the Blackhawks.
All right, I'm still trying to figure out if when you said coat rack, if you're talking about yourself or a physically actual coat rack.
Is a physical coat rack. I would be more like a metal coat hanger thin kind of guy. Like I haven't even got to the coat rack circumference thickness. My arms are the metal, the ones you get when you go to dry cleaning, and they're like the really bad paper thin ones. But anyways, enough about arm size. Hockey season's full swing. Everyone's buzzing. I'm sure everyone's happy and not happy. This weekend for junior hockey players, it's what we're calling moving day, because all the NAL, USHL and stuff are about week 1 or week 2, and they're going to start trading players and gassing players. And I'm sure you have some rants about the start of hockey season, Booge, that we haven't talked about. So what do we have?
I have rants about kids that pretend that they want to get better. This is my rant. And this is immediately coming off a disastrous night of goalie lessons and me going on a tirade last night. And I think alienating a new client that was watching and probably will never, ever come back because he's probably terrified of me. But I had a group of 16-year-old goalies that did not show up to get better. They showed up to go through the motions. They did not have a focus level anywhere near the standard or the expectations, and wasted an hour of my life where I rushed from the arena to get back to do this lesson with them, and they were not prepared, focused. There was zero intention, and I was not a happy man. And you can remember those days when I had those wars with you. Well, last night I think was maybe a 10 out of 10 top of the list meltdown by Booge. And it's simple, like it was a simple puck handling warm-up drill where all I had to do was catch a puck, glove to ice to kill the puck, and then move it. I had guys dropping pucks and then it goes through their legs and in their net. Guys would fan on the pucks. They wouldn't catch the pucks. They would pass to the wrong guy. And it just made me want to have this discussion on, like, you put all this time into getting better in the off season. You build a program, you build a routine, whether it's strength, mobility on the ice, power skating, nutrition, sleep. Like you put in 12 weeks of focused effort to get better. And then once the season starts, you take for granted your ice times. And they just become you're going through the motions. You show up without the intention that every day I have a chance to get better. And I would say, like, if shameless plug to my YouTube channel, but I put on 2 different YouTube shorts that happened last week where I had to call guys out, different ages, for not being prepared and not showing up with the intention to get better today. And then last night I had a group of U16s, that same thing. So, like, this has to be a wake-up call for any goalies that are listening to this podcast. You are wasting your summer effort if in September you don't take your skates seriously. Just because you're playing games and just because you're doing team practices doesn't mean that your training hours can take a back seat.
If you're watching on YouTube, you would have saw me smile a couple times throughout that rant. The biggest one is the catching the puck, laying it flat and playing it is the biggest. Like, there's a drill that's going to expose goalies who actually care about getting better. I don't know why it is. It's that because it requires like the smallest attention to detail. Like you actually have to bend over instead of just like dropping and playing it. And I'm laughing because I think about all the time that I've done skates are the same thing. We do that, and the goal is like get it flat. They never get it flat, and then you got to be like butterflies for not getting it flat. Still not getting it flat, and then I start to lose my temper. And then you hit on just basically like talking about off-season training and then how people handle mentally and physically the in-season. I've already wrote it on my list of things to film. Is like basically end of September, October is my favorite time as a physio because that's when everyone gets hurt. because everyone trains hard. Well, most people train hard in the summer, and then they immediately stop lifting in the summer or in the in season, and then they wonder why they get hurt because they're skating 5 times a week, which is fine, but their bodies they're not maintaining their strength, and then they start to get hurt and all these problems. So my clinic's it's great for business, but I'm running through that same thing, the same issue on the off ice side, where we have an academy here, and they get access to world class hockey training every single day. We're not allowed to go and be like, hey, you have to work out. It's their choice. You would I don't want to say you'd be surprised, but I'm slightly disappointed by the number of athletes that don't come in every single day. There are the bunch that do, and it's great, but there are some where it's like it's a Wednesday, and they play on a Sunday. They're like, I don't want to work out because I'm sore. Well, yeah, you're sore because you work out once a week, and then you get sore, and then you stop. Like if you just work out, one, you're gonna get better, you're gonna be less sore, and you're gonna be prepared for games. Like we're not crushing you before game day. We know what we're doing, and it's you know what, like it's their parents' money, I guess, but it's disappointing because we try to encourage them and we explain why they should be in here at the frequency and volume that they need to be, and it's just they don't care. And then what's going to happen is they're going to go to junior and compete against kids that are in the gym, and then they're going to wonder why they get cut from teams and get blown up in the corner because they're not strong.
Like, wouldn't it be so much easier if we could just play the games for them?
It would be. I mean, we were both young, dumb kids too, and we just didn't listen. But I don't know. I think I wanted it pretty bad. But I wish the biggest, because like they don't really care when I say it. They don't really care when the coaches say it or the parents say it. I wish they knew what, like, for us, like hockey's pretty big in West Michigan. We're starting with Ghost to pump my own tires. Like we haven't had those like hockey training facilities like you have. Like back home, there's one at every street corner, and every single person is in there from the time they're 12 to the day they retire, like training, getting better. That doesn't really exist here. It does in other places in the States, but not really in West Michigan. And I just want the kids to know that, like, okay, you might be playing AAA here, but you have to understand that you're competing for junior spots and college spots and major junior spots with kids from Detroit, with kids from Toronto, with kids from Vancouver, with kids from Minneapolis, with Europeans, like all these players. It's not just this small bubble that you're in. Like, so, okay, so you're in the gym twice a week, and that's more than your teammates who are in the gym 0 or 1 time a week. Well, you're also going against kids that are in the gym 5 times a week, 4 times a week, and then doing their still stuff and taking their practice seriously, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what I wish more kids would understand.
Oh, we know which kids actually are working hard and trying. We get that. And you're right. Like it's an easy attention to detail type of drill where we see the kids that actually have like intention and focus. And it's frustrating because as coaches, we prepare. Like we see our calendar, we see who's coming in, we understand who they are as goalies and as people and their weaknesses, and we are trying to help them as the best as we possibly can. And when they show up and they don't have that attention to detail and the focus isn't there, not only does it waste that hour of us being there and coaching them and trying to pull something out of them, but it also wastes the time that we prepared for that lesson. So it becomes incredibly like when it's funny, the adage from hockey parents, when you're a head coach and everybody knows I'm a head coach and you one day when you decide to have fun, will be a head coach. Yeah. You hate fun. We know that. But it's always funny. Like every player, every hockey player growing up has said at one point in their career, oh yeah, my coach plays their favorites. Right. You've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody listening to this is like, oh yeah, my kid's coach plays his favorites. Obviously. Like, of course they do, you fools. The coach is going to play his favorites because the kids that are his favorites are the kids that are focused, that have attention to detail, that are prepared, that put in the extra work, that do what the coach is asking them to do. The coach would be a moron if he didn't play his favorites. So I always laugh when he's like, oh, yeah, he's got his 3 or 4 favorites and he just plays them. Okay. And your team is winning. And he's playing the favorites because those are the players that he can trust and rely on. So maybe you should try to be one of the favorites. And that's the same with us, is we have our favorites that come in. When I see Liv Folkens on my schedule, I know that I can prepare a lesson and I can teach her something, and she's going to show up and she is going to absorb it all. And that's what makes coaching fun for us. So yeah, guess what? Liv Folkens is one of my favorites, guys. I'm going to play my favorites.
Yeah, there's, you know what, Boone, I'll give you credit. You're full of wisdom today. I had a conversation with a coach asking about goalies and stuff, and he was just venting because he was dealing with the parents of one of their goalies, and they were upset that their goalie wasn't getting like the semifinal and final games in the tournament. And his reply was, it's like, well, one, your goalie has the worst practice habits I've ever seen and is not doing anything to get better. And also did not play well in the tournament. So he's like, so I don't know what you expect. And then he called me. He's like, did I do the right thing? And I said, well, before the start of the season, did you talk to them and say like, hey, when the push comes to shove, the better goalie is going to play more games? He goes, I absolutely did. He's like, I didn't even promise them 50-50 in season. And I said, well, at that age, you probably should, but you told them right away. So why are they upset? He's like, and I said, so there's no reason for them to be upset. You can only do so much. We can only tell our athletes, hey, like, we're looking for better practice habits. This is what we're looking for. We need to do this, we need to do that. There are avenues for you to get better. We have organizational goalie skates start today. There are multiple goalie coaches in this organization that do small group sessions that you can go to. You have access to training more outside the team, and it's not our fault. We have those things. If you're not willing to do them, you can't just expect that people are going to play you. And I can assure you that this goalie does not try in their workouts. And when I found out, because they were new to the organization, and I found out who it was, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm not surprised, because they come into their one team left, and it's not even a chore. It's torture to them, apparently. And so, yeah, in that, you wonder why you don't get better. And then that your goalie partner, who started down here, is now getting up better and better and better, because they're also putting a ton of work off the ice, on the ice, skating consistently, trying hard in practice, and they're reaping the rewards. So, like you said, it's frustrating. I'm more frustrated, like you said there, it's more like the time wasting thing. I'm getting paid for my time either way. I get frustrated because I know how bad I wanted it, and I wish some of the other kids wanted it as bad as I wanted it, because, as like, I wasn't the most skilled, I wasn't the most flexible. I was tall and lanky, but I read the play, but I also had to work my way into where I got. And so I wish kids understood that, like, if you just work and work and work, like, you're going to surpass other kids. The kids are going to drop off, and you are going to keep going. I don't know what that level is going to be at the top, but you're going to get higher than all the kids that aren't putting in that extra effort.
I just want to go back to one thing where you said I'm getting paid for my time. And yes, okay, we do this as an occupation. Like, we feed our families and pay our bills by coaching hockey. So getting paid for our time is vital. But I don't care. I love coaching because I want kids to get better. And I want to coach kids that want to get better and that want to learn, and they will absorb information. So I have fired clients much more than I've been fired as a coach, because I don't care if you're paying me $155 for a private lesson. If that hour to me is useless, if I can't get something out of you, I don't care. I won't do it. I just will not do it. It's not worth me just getting a paycheck because a kid wants to skate, but that kid doesn't want to skate. That kid just wants to get on the ice and have puck shot on them and not learn and not get better. And that's like the biggest thing. When I first, and we've had this talk before, when I first started, I would do anything to get a new goalie. I would recruit, I would talk to people, I'd go watch games, I'd hand out business cards. Like, I just wanted to grow the business. And it got to a point where it's like, you got to like going to the rink. And this comes back to like parent cut debates all the time when you're in tryouts, is if you're a coach and you want to do the best job you can do, you have to be excited to go to the rink. You have to be looking forward to getting on the ice and working with these athletes. So if there's someone who's taken away that joy from you, it's not worth whatever dollar they're giving you, because it's going to take away your joy and it's going to make you angry. And this comes back to like, and I learned this early in my coaching career about parent cuts, is if there's a parent there that is ruining your experience of coaching and you're not excited to go to the rink anymore, that's why you cut parents. Because the other 16 kids mean more than one parent taking away your joy and not going to the rink with a smile and enjoying it. So, I mean, keep your $155. I don't care, because I'll go work with 8-year-olds that want to get better for $60 an hour than torture myself with kids that just do not want to learn.
Yeah, I torture myself because I have this naivety that like, if I bring the energy, that eventually through osmosis it will change, and I just try and try and try. I haven't had to fire a client yet. Usually when goalie stops skating with me, it's because they kid yesterday, and we were doing she didn't fire me, and she's always going to come back, and she's getting good, and it's nice to see. But we were doing a drill where I was creating my own rebound, and she's a U14 tier 1 AAA goalie. But I said like, hey, like, I want you to come across desperation, controlled desperation, because she likes to just Dominic Hasek. And I'm like, you are too flexible, too fast, and too smart to do that. But I'd create my own rebound and I would rip it hard. And she was like, do you want me to get better, or do you just want to score goals? And I said, well, first of all, both. Second, you're not going to get better by me giving you extra time to get over. You're going to get better by me trying to score in this situation, because I need it to be fast, because I need you to get fast. So yeah, I want you to get better, and that's why we're doing it. If I can come out here for the 30 minutes that I get with your team and shoot it right at your chest, and you'll make a ton of sweet saves, but you're not going to get better. And she knows that. She's frustrated. But I do have a lot of goalies that are one and dones, because their parents will be there. They will say, or the parents will say, like, you know, they weren't really happy after the skate. They felt like they gave up a lot of goals. So, yeah, it's goalie skate. This isn't, you don't take an exam. You don't just show up to school and know all the answers. You get questions wrong. You learn, like, you make mistakes. But like, kids are so goal against adverse that they're so focused. They think if they're not making saves, they're not getting better. Like, there will be a day I can't score on you. But when you are 13 and I'm 32 and I'm stationary in the dot, I'm probably going to score. One day you'll stop me. But for now, I'm going to challenge you.
I've also found the secret to when you can't score on them anymore, you just put screens in front of them, and then you can score on them again.
The problem is I start with screen, like we talked about many pods ago. I start really early with screens. So now they're just good at screens. And I'm like, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own rebounds, so I have a wide open net and I can't miss. Everything we're doing isn't tight.
Once they get good enough that you can't score, you just stop shooting them. You bring in shooters, and then you just remind them how you used to always light them up.
That's kind of what I do. Or now too, like, I'll have like my Bantam minor team, and we'll play this game at the end, the 6-puck goal line game, where it's just 6 quick alternating attacks. And I'm at the point still where I'm still winning those games. And even like their top scorers aren't beating me. And their like, players are so frustrated. So every goalie state, they're like, "Were you in 6-puck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create my own rebounds, so I have a wide open net and I can't miss. Everything we're doing isn't tight. Like, we're gonna beat you today. And then we did that skate on Tuesday. I was like, no, you guys aren't. And I went 5 for 6 and they went 2 for 6. Like, how do you do that? Like, how are you doing that? I'm like, listen, you guys, I might not be the greatest skater or the best hands, but I know my goalies. You guys
you got pretty good hands. Your hands are pretty good. You got better hands than I do.
I shoot a lot though, and I shoot.
I got a
on
better
skates
shot.
a lot. I see, but you shoot on plastic a lot more. Like, that took me a long time to be able to shoot in motion.
I've been shooting more on skates. I definitely got a better shot than you. You got better hands than me, and we're both very bad skaters.
Oh, it's just so bad. It's just goalies. We don't bend our knees.
I'm doing like I've merged into doing a lot of defenseman development now. So last night I have a defenseman clinic with 18 U14 AA kids, and I'm trying to like demo the drill, which is the worst thing ever because it's a footwork and edge work drill, and it's horrible. And then like all of my credibility out the window. So I always have to preface it with like, I was a goalie. I'm not a very good skater. Just do what I tell you to do. You should look much better than me. But I've gotten, I'd say in the last year, as a 40-year-old man, my skating has probably improved exponentially just by running D-skates. I'm still not very fast and have a hard time beating 11-year-olds in a straight line, but I've definitely gotten a little bit better at skating.
I wish men's league games weren't so late at night, because I would like to play B minus level men's league as a player, as just for the exercise and like just, to have a little bit of competitive drive, because as a goalie, I just beat myself up. But as a player, my expectations are basically zero. And so I would like to get into that. There's just like 11 p.m. puck drop. Yeah, I can't do that. That's too late.
It's funny. Like I spent most of my morning going through like cutting up video for my team. And when I'm watching it, I can see the play happen before it happens. But the second I'm playing on the ice, I have the most tunnel vision ever. Like I see nothing but like what's directly 1 foot in front of me, and I have no peripheral vision at all, that I can't play because I'm not good enough. But I can see the play happen from behind the bench or on like in video, no problem. But yeah, like I mean, I needed Ackerman just to now be a competent men's league hockey player.
I can see the play as a player. My only advantage is just like I'm somewhat athletic enough, or as long as I'm not a good skater, like I just try harder than everyone else. So I'll just go skate really hard and burn out really easily because I don't.
Everybody makes fun of you for being everybody makes fun of you for being a tryhard.
Yeah, that's okay. I'd rather that than be the guy that is too cool for school. Well, basically, it's just, how bad do you want it, Jack Phibbs? Do you want it or do you want it?
Do you want it or do you want it, Jack?
And I could tell you, a lot of kids don't want it. It's hard though, and I think about that.
They don't know how to want it. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. It's hard because they're kids. They're kids, and it's our job to show them and to lead by example. And so, like, even here, I have my recovery room where the kids are always in Normatex, basically from the time we open to the time we close. They're doing the recovery, they're doing that stuff, which is great. But we have our coaches lift, myself, Ben, and the 18s coach, Dave Sellen. Like, we come in and we work out almost at the same time every day, or like whenever I don't have patients. And part of that, one, staying healthy, and I own a gym, but I want kids to see us doing it. I want them to see that we are lifting. I don't want them to just think that, like, we don't do anything as coaches, or like, it's leading by example. And I think that's really important. As a goalie science listener, and you're listening to this right now, it tells me that you care about your performance on and off the ice. But if you are still winging it in the gym, stop. Your performance is suffering. Most hockey players and goalies make one of two mistakes. They are either training like they are in the off season, or they are not training at all. These are the same athletes that are wondering why they are sucking wind all practice and in games. Their legs are heavy, they're burning, they can't get through a 5-on-3 penalty kill. Talked about it briefly before, but that is why myself and my head strength and conditioning coach, Ben, have put together our in-season high performance hockey program. This is a 5-day-a-week performance focused program that you can follow on your own around your ice schedule to keep you in the best shape of your life, and for some athletes, get them in the best shape of their life during the season. You will keep your speed, you'll stay strong, you'll stay mobile, and you'll stay resilient so you can be healthy all season. We wanted to make sure that there was no more guessing and there were no more trash workouts that are hurting your performance on the ice. The program is $49 a month. It is 100% online. All your programming is in an app. You also get access to our private Ghost Rehab and Performance Discord with all of our athletes, so you can have form checks, video breakdown, whatever it is about your off-ice training. Myself, Ben, and the other coaches are all in that group ready to help you. And if as a Goalie Science listener, if you use the code Goalie Science at checkout, you will get access to the Kinetic Edge Advanced Goalie Mobility Program in your program for free. That's a $300 value. So if you want to stay strong and keep your legs all season, stay healthy all season, you can go to ghostrehab.com and sign up in the remote training, or click the link in the show notes. And that, don't forget, that's code Goalie Science, and for that free $300 mobility program. Thank you for listening. Now let's get back to the episode. The only thing I won't do is put on my own goalie gear and lead by example. I'll just lead as a coach.
I do want to talk about what we discussed earlier, and like this has always been a like, can goalies be leaders type of question. And the reason I brought up Liv Falkins, who's like my new favorite, about a couple minutes ago, was because she came in for a private lesson, and sometimes we take for granted that they know, or we assume that they know things that we know, and we just take it for granted. And so like I was explaining to her, number one, she's the worst puck handler in the history of hockey. And because she's a 12-year-old girl and she's never worked on it before, and she's using a true stick, which are the worst sticks ever. So nobody ever use a true goalie stick.
Hey, do you make bad stick?
They're
crazy. Because did they start out as because I know that they originally they were lacrosse, and I know they bought VH, but didn't they make sticks before they bought VH?
I don't know, but they're whoever made their molds, like it's just not proportionate, right? The shaft is so short, and like the blades are so big on them, and they're just dog crap. See, I didn't swear there. New.
That was good catch.
It's a new initiative. I'm not swearing as much anymore.
Good, because my new initiative is I'm just not editing it now.
Yeah, I think you've given up on it. I had to go on a 9-minute rant by myself last week, and no edits. Thanks for that. So. I was explaining to her about puck handling, and like we did a lot of puck handling, and she was like, "Why am I doing this?" And I explained, and I listen. This is anecdotal. I don't know if this had any correlation, but this is what I found out about 6 years ago. We did a fitness test, and all of my goalies that had the best grip strength were by far the best at catching pucks, and not only catching pucks but also hand speed. Like they were faster to get to pucks with their blockers and their gloves. And I did this test like 3 years in a row, and it was always different group, but always the same result. So then I started thinking, I'm like, if I do more puck handling and they get stronger hands, they're going to catch more pucks. And I just did that as like a theory in my own head, and it worked. Like I hate talking about my kid because he's a pain in the ass. But my kid is 10 years old. He catches every puck that's shot near his glove. And if I put a puck on the goal line at 10 years old, he can shoot it to the top of the circles in the air. Like, it's pretty good. And I do puck handle them, and he catches pucks. So this came to me trying to explain to her what endzone management was. And I feel like this is a lost idea through goalies. I don't think enough goalies understand what we talk about when we say like what it is to be the general on your end, or what end zone management or game management means. So I want to talk about it because I want to teach things to kids. And obviously you're going to steal this and pass this off as your own, which you always do, which is cool. Yeah. Just give me a ghost t-shirt that says Coach Booge on it. Deal. And we'll be fine.
Deal.
So when you talk about game management or end zone management, like what are some of your like pillars in terms of trying to communicate what these goalies need to do?
That's a good question, because I probably should have. It's probably something that I should write as hard and fast things when I steal it as my own, as end zone I don't know, end zone control or something. Uh, communication, the communication is usually the biggest one and the obvious one. Being able to know like your calls, whether that's playing pucks on rim, whether that's articulating, dealing with your defenseman, taking your eyes away as like can't see, move, or net front guy, one-timer guy. There is your I want to say rebound control, but I don't want it to be passive rebound. I want like active rebound control, where it's like like puck shot at your glove. Like, are you catching pucks? Are you belly traps, dump ins? Are you making the right read with that? Are you playing the puck, or I should say releasing it into the wild when you should be, or are you getting whistles, killing the play when you should be? Those, I guess, like I'm trying to think if there's a third, because those two kind of cover most. I guess play, and then yeah, I guess like playing the puck would be the third one for me, and that's just beating F1 like we talk about as the goal of puck playing, but just making sure that we are giving clean passes to the right player who are able to make the right plays with the least amount of pressure. Because that way we can get out of the end zone. Because even if we make a good pass and it hits the tape of a guy or a defenseman who's got 2 forecheckers on him, they turn it over. Now we're just jammed in our zone. And so that's how I would hastily give my 3 pillars of end zone management.
Your 3 pillars were just a cloud of a bunch of dust, and you just said a bunch of words and you didn't organize them very well. But
that's why I told you I could be a consultant. We could work on
it was
vertical integration of AI.
We're on the same page. It's just I am significantly more organized. So, like, number one is
because you prepared.
Of course, this was my idea, and I had to look better than you, not only physically but communication wise. But yeah, so like I have 4 things, and you literally hit on all of them because I taught you everything you know. Congratulations to yourself. Number 1, when we talked about like when you're the goalie, you are the only one that is looking the other way, right? So you're already at not an advantage, but you are doing something different. You are original in the fact that you see the play coming towards you, where everybody is constantly moving laterally, forward, backwards, shoulder checking behind them, where we have that advantage. So when we talk about verbal communication, right? And you're right, the calls, wheel, time, reverse. And this is such a skill that is taken for granted because they don't think it's as important as coaches think it is. If your defenseman's coming back and he's got pressure coming from the same side, the strong side, and they got to step on him, you're either calling wheel or you're calling reverse, or maybe even a rim, right? Those are really your 3 reads. And you call a reverse based off of the support from the D. You call a wheel based off of if they can use the net to create separation. And then if none of those things are there, you can call a rim so they don't get absolutely demolished. So those are your 3 reads. Now, if that defenseman makes a mistake and 25 seconds later, it's a backdoor tap in, who is the goalie blaming?
Always the defenseman.
Always the defenseman. And it's not.
Whose fault is it really?
It's the goalie's fault for not having that verbal communication. And it's crazy how quickly they forget, like, oh, 25 seconds later, we had that opportunity to break out. I didn't communicate to my defenseman well enough. They turned the puck over, and now I'm going to blame them. And that happens all the time. So, like, and when we talk about leadership, like verbal communication and understanding your calls is so much more important. And as you get higher in the ranks and higher in categories, like AA to AAA and then into junior, they get so much more important because the game gets that much faster. So when we talk about verbal communication, also it could be visual. Like there could be an arm, like an icing. What do goalies do when they see an icing?
Arm up.
Arm up. That's not verbal communication. That's visual communication. Same thing, right? That's something that we have to do better at. And that's something that as coaches, we have to teach better. And then the second one I have is like rebound control, right? And we've talked about this all the time. You can go back in the archives, there's rebound control. But what I try to teach goalies is rebound control on scoring chances does not matter.
No. Oh my gosh.
Does not matter.
I have this rant all the time.
All the time, right? It's like what I'm tracking is, did the goalie create a scoring chance? So a bad puck handle where the goalie turns it over. 15 seconds later, there's a one-timer in the slot. Who created that scoring chance? Goalie.
Yeah.
If they take a point shot with no traffic and goes off the goalie's chest into the slot, one time in the slot, that's the goalie's fault. And Weston gave up that goal this weekend, and he was mad at me because it was a one time in the slot. He didn't understand that he gave up the rebound that created the scoring chance, and they don't get that. And like, to me, this is so big. Like, and the reason I'm so big on end zone management is because I've seen it firsthand. Number one goalies, if you're on a team where there's a 1 and a 2 and you're going to fight for ice time, the coaches that have confidence in the goalie it's usually the goalie that has better end zone management, ability to get whistles. You said that. That's huge, right? You just find a way to get a whistle, whether it's pushing
get your fourth line off the ice, get a whistle.
Get your fourth line, yeah. Get your tired defensemen off the ice that have turned it over. They're still trying to make a clean breakout when they've turned it over 3 times high in the zone. Find a way to get a whistle. And that goes back to like catching pucks and belly traps and puck handling and verbal communication. But it is insane how much, if we actually tracked some of those stats as goalie coaches between two goalies, how many whistles they got in a game, how many times you could verbally hear them communicate with the D, I bet you our number one goalies, I'm putting this in quotation marks, would have higher numbers in every single one of those categories.
Yeah. Oh, God. I love that, like, we are the same person, which makes sense as you taught me everything I know, and then I just made it way better and popular on the internet, where my biggest, actually, outside of kids just not working out more, my biggest goalie frustration, and it will be this till the end of time, is not taking your rebounds seriously in goalie drills. Like, we talk about all the time, we talk about intelligent drill design. I should make longer videos on it, but like, I don't do a lot of like bang shots where it's shot blocker or into another shot, into another shot, into another shot, because I think a lot of those are stupid. But I will do multi-shot drills that are where I will tell the goalies these are 3 separate scenarios. And so this Tuesday at a skate, pass cross, push to a pull, shot through traffic. The amount of times that the goalie did not absorb it is an issue on itself, but it would drop down and they would just whack the puck or leave it. Like, what are you doing? Cover it. They're like, well, the next shot. I'm like, I am controlling the drill. I control the drill for a reason. I'm waiting for you to get set. Cover your rebounds. And then I watched some of their games, and they gave up crappy rebound goals because they weren't intense finding the rebounds. I'm like, I need you to soak these up. Like, it's habits. It's all habit building. Everything we do is just building habits. And you can't, when people are like, well, in a game, I turn it on. Like, okay, sure. Like, I get there are game and practice goalies, but don't you think you could be way better if when you turn it on, your habits automatically make you control your rebounds and not get up on slides before the shot's taken and things like that. So that is like the intention, the wanting to get better, like that. It's all coming full circle. But going back to end zone management, yeah, just understanding when you need to get whistles, getting whistles when you should get whistles, pucks off your chest, pucks in your glove, things like that, and then making stick saves, putting pucks into the corner rather than swinging your arm, missing it, hits the pad, bounces back to the slot.
Yeah, and to me, this is a big conversation because we're in September, end of September, going into like October, but these are like building to playoffs. Like, I mean, we're crazy if we're talking about playoffs in September. Like, playoffs, like whatever that clip is by the Indianapolis Colts guy. But like, end zone management is something that you can just continuously get better at if you identify the things that we're talking about, which is verbal communication, rebound control, puck handling, and ability to get whistles. Those are the 4 things for me. And those are the 4 things where they make a tangible difference in your team's ability to win games, aside from you just making saves. Like, every goalie, obviously, this the position is you have to be able to stop the puck.
Yes.
But everybody can stop the puck. At the top levels, at AAA, in the USHL, which is the 3rd or 4th best junior hockey league now, after every league in Canada, all of the goalies can make saves. How do you separate yourself? How do you go into college when there's 3 goalies on scholarships and separate yourself? And it's funny because you're like practice habits. Like when you were a freshman, what did Mel Pearson say about your practice habits?
They were atrocious.
And you didn't play games.
I didn't play games.
Yeah.
I use myself an example all the time. I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know. And that's part of having a coach and mentor is we don't just tell you things because we like hearing ourselves talk, although I do like hearing myself talk. I do these because I care and like I'm trying to like guide you in the right direction. What are your other 2 things? I'm out of curiosity because obviously communication, rebounds. Is puck handling going to be
I had 4. So to me, number 1 is verbal communication, and visual communication, number 1. And they're not even like, there's no ranking. It's just, there's 4 things that I look at: verbal communication, visual communication, puck handling, right? And we talk about this all the time is you do not need to be creative. You do not need to make plays. You can move the puck 8 feet and it can be an effective puck handle. Number 3 is not creating scoring chances. So rebound control, not creating a scoring chance on a non-scoring chance. So if a puck gets shot from the half wall, you're able to control that rebound. If you turn the puck over on a puck handle, you're creating a scoring chance. So not creating scoring chances for yourself. And then the third one is the ability to get whistles. And I will tell you this. I had, you were there. We lost game 7 when I was coaching a junior B team about 10 years ago. We lost game 7. And that year I tracked this stuff. This is the stuff that I tracked the most because it's very easy to track shots. So I was like, I can do better. So I tracked how often our team was able to break out of the zone when the goalie touched the puck. That was one thing I tracked. So a dump-in goalie has a handle, whether he leaves it, whether he plays it, how many times we were able to break out after the goalie had a puck handle. I had one goalie that was at 62%. I had one goalie that was 85%. Significant difference. And the biggest difference between those 2 is the goalie's name was Jack McGovern. He was willing to make plays on both sides of his stick. He would stop it. He'd also shoot it on his backhand. He'd also shoot it on his forehand. And because he was willing to use the back side of his stick, he was able to use both sides of the ice. So he had more success on his puck handles than the other guy who didn't matter where he touched it. He would only make plays to his forehand. Mm-hmm. So that was a big difference. The second one was whistles. Jack had an average of he covered the pucks an average, if I remember off the top of my head, about 17 times a game. The other guy was about 12. So a difference of 5, right? 5 whistles a game. And at the end of the year, when I looked at all these things, Jack, who was our number 1 goalie that year, had an average of 6 shots less and 3 scoring chances less a game, just from those 2 things. His puck handles were better, and he got more whistles. So the pace of the game was slower. Our coaches were able to match lines better. We were able to get our weaker D off the ice. We were able to get centermen out that were better at winning faceoffs. And the difference was 3 scoring chances per game. Now you times that by 15, right? 15 games, that's 45 extra scoring chances that the other guy would have to face. It's a big difference.
That makes me think of something I haven't thought of. Think of all the time where parents and goalies are like, oh, the team always plays better in front of the other guy than me. Maybe you're just bad at those small details that are causing you to give up a lot more shots.
Yeah.
I never thought of that one until that's just now.
100%. Like that's where it's like, to me, like,
see, now that's good. Now I'm going to be looking for that stuff, like more than I already was.
If you really want to be consistent, like a consistent goalie, like we talk about preparation, like helps with consistency, but end zone management is huge in your ability to be consistent. Like you want to be 3 or less every single game, focus on getting whistles, focus on just good communication with the D, focus on just smart handles, right? The rebound control stuff is like, that's really where we can make a difference as goalie coaches, and that's save execution. But like, those things are very, very easy, but it comes back to my original rant half an hour ago, which was when you go to training, is your intention to get better today? Are you going there and the attention to detail is there? Will you smother a puck to make it flat and then pass to your sixth defenseman, who can now pick up an easy pickup and make a play, or are you giving your sixth defenseman something that's a hand grenade and he's already a terrible player and he's now going to make a terrible play and then you're going to blame him? So,
well, before we get into the parting shots and stuff, there's something I can't believe I didn't ask you at the start. Oh, gosh, I love that I get to ask. Derek, as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, what do you think about James Rymer signing a PTO with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
well, you are breaking this news to me right now.
Actually? Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know that.
James Rymer has signed a PTO for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, first of all, James Rymer is salt of the earth, one of the greatest human beings. Have you ever heard anybody say a negative thing about James Rymer?
Nope.
No, he's unbelievable. James Rymer is also the same goalie that gave up 3 goals in 4 minutes against Boston in Game 7 after they were up 3-1, and I sent text messages to every Boston Bruins fan I knew saying, ha ha, you losers. And then immediately had to throw my phone in the toilet when Rymer gave up 3 goals in 4 minutes. And I remember blast from the past, Ethan Slobodian, who I miss dearly, and I hope he listens to this podcast because he was a beauty, and I miss him a lot. Probably not. No, I think he hates hockey now. But I miss you, Ethan, if you are listening. But his old man was like diehard Bruin guy, and I remember sitting on my couch and I texted Ron, his name was, and he was the first text I got back after the Leafs lost in overtime, and I didn't even look at it for a week. I'm like, I need to hide under a rock. But big James Rymer fan, Optimus Rhyme. I still have the Goalie World magazine with him on the cover. And yeah, you broke that news to me. And I mean, I'm a big Joe Wall fan. I love Joe Wall, and whatever is going on in his personal life, I wish him the best of luck. And I hope he comes back very soon and everything is okay in his world.
Yeah, I was surprised that I broke that to you. I thought for sure you'd be all over it. I mean, is James Reimer the best goalie? He's definitely not. But you know what? There's nothing wrong
Stolarz, man. Stolarz is good.
Yeah.
And to be 100% honest,
with a little bit of like veteran leadership, whatever you want to call it, just to be there. The guy's been around the league for a long time. He's a good guy. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a good team guy in the dressing room, and he's going to spend most of his time in the American League. Well, depending on what's going on with Wall, he's probably going to spend most of the time in the American League. There's nothing wrong with that.
You think so? I don't think so. If I'm thinking of this right now, like, why would he not be backing up Stolarz, and you leave Dennis Hildeby and the Russian guy in the American League?
No, when Wall comes back.
Oh, when Wall comes back, yeah.
Yeah.
When that's Wall comes back, probably release him from his PTO.
Yeah, maybe, but like, depending on the roster rules and stuff, I mean, the Marlies and they're in the same city. That's the upside. That's why so many teams are moving to their American leagues to the same city. They're just all there. Like, you can have that veteran presence around all the time for all your goalies, whether they're in the show or
we'll
in the American League.
We'll come back to this in 8 weeks when they release his PTO. And of course I'm right. I'm always right. When have you ever said Booze, you're wrong?
That's a good question. Actually, I don't say that a whole lot. Because you're smart like me, where you don't say things where you know you're going to be wrong. Which is like, again, like why I win every internet debate, because I don't make content that I'm wrong.
Is it we don't lose debates, or we just never admit that we're wrong?
That you know what, both. But that brings me to another conversation. I posted a video of one of my 2010s just doing a skating drill, and he holds his glove
like this.
Pretty stupid. And we talk about it all the time. And I say this, I'm sure I probably have my we skate Wednesday mornings at 6 a.m. and we talked about it on the ice. So I'm sure I could find that clip, and just for proof, I just said, like, because we were doing smothering. He was asking me why he was struggling to smother on his glove side, and his blocker side is lights out. And I just said, I'm like, well, you hold your glove weird, but which is fine because you catch pucks. Like, you catch shots, you catch them. You don't roll your wrist in tight. I need you to get comfortable rolling your wrist, your glove hand, because you do with your blocker, just roll your glove hand in tight. Let's break that habit. And it's funny because like all over, and you can go find this video on my Instagram. Everyone's like, "Why is he holding his glove like that? That's so stupid. That's so dumb." Like one, and I've been planning to make a video on this. One, there's no shot. Two, he doesn't struggle catching pucks. Talk about this. The collective goalie coaching, we in North America, like to uncoach catching out of our goalies. Maybe him holding his glove there is the most comfortable way for him to make saves. And right now it is because he doesn't really get beat outside his hands on shots. He just gets beat in tight third and fourth rebounds because he's not rolling his wrist. And he doesn't like to use a stick to make saves. That's another issue for another day. But God, I just wish another one. I wish we like kids and mainly goalie coaches of these kids don't major in the minors with these things. Like if your glove isn't here, you're not optimizing the amount of coverage and blah blah blah, blah or not to say that because that's wrong. You're not presenting as big as you absolutely need to and blah blah blah. Yes, there is something to that. But if a kid can't catch because you're telling them to hold their glove in a way that's super weird or their break doesn't allow it, what are you achieving? You have a goalie that maybe looks better but is bad at stopping pucks. Cool.
Does the internet think that you never noticed the way he holds his
should
glove?
end that. You should end that. The internet doesn't think. That's the thing.
But it's just funny. Like it's even like coaching. Like parents sit in the stands. Do you think the coach doesn't see what you see and isn't already identifying those things? You guys in the stands and on the internet are just so much smarter than us. Thank you for helping. Man, I wouldn't know how to fix his glove if you didn't point it out to me. So thank you to Jimmy, who's 13 and plays on his JV high school team, that is reminding you that kid holds his glove weird. Man, what would we do without you?
It doesn't. When I see the comments, like I haven't replied to any because it's not because I'm like, you child, like you're so dumb. It's I get frustrated because I wish the conversation was more of like, it's okay to be different, like have different styles and techniques and whatever works. Like whatever works. And again, I say it all the time, if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. And then again, this should be a whole new podcast. But then the conversation, someone's going to say, well, when that goalie goes to the next level, that's going to be an issue. How do you know? How do you know that? You don't. So he's a good goalie. He's a great goalie. He's probably going to play junior as a 16-year-old next year, which would be awesome. He probably will be fine because he's going to get to that level. And if he's not, we will fix it. That's how we make changes. You had this conversation with your Olympic goalie. Same thing. Why are we trying to fix things that aren't problems? I don't know. Anyways, let's get into a parting shot because I'm getting frustrated and I have a patient here in 20 minutes and I'm going to be beating them up with my thumbs later. So we should probably stop.
Okay. What's your parting shot?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say it because I could buy my time for a parting shot.
I don't know if all right. Well, I don't know if I have a parting shot. My parting shot is what we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah, I have a parting shot shout out. Our 2010 team for Fox Motors is ranked number 5 in the country. That's pretty cool. It's not number 1. We're getting there, but this year they've assembled a team that probably can beat Little Caesars, the Ryan Kessler's crazy Little Caesars team. They almost beat them a couple weekends ago, and they play them in 2 weeks, and I'm excited to go watch. So shout out them because they're a good team, and then also a lot of them need to stop being so cocky and work out more and take their workout seriously. It's a problem when you're a good team.
You going to interrupt me again, or am I allowed
I'm going to cut you off. No, I'm going to cut you off.
My party. Wow, you're so predictable. My parting shots or my shoutouts. I have 2 shoutouts. Number 1 is going to go to Charlotte Payne, who I talk about on this podcast all the time. Is going to get her.
This is the Charlotte Payne podcast.
I knew you were going to cut me off. Just like you cut the sleeves off that hoodie. my shout out goes to Miss Charlotte Payne, who's going to play her first NCAA game tomorrow. This pod dropping late, so she would have already played. So hopefully she goes in and does what I think she can do on a very new team who will find their way. But I think they have very capable freshman goalie. So good luck, Charlotte. I'm going to watch on Flow TV or Flow Hockey TV, whatever it's called. And if anybody wants to give me a free login so I don't have to buy a subscription, that's cool. You can just hit me up on Instagram and send me that password because I am a shill for anything free. And shout out to Mr. Lincoln Stinson Kurtz, who got his first ever junior start for the Niagara Falls Canucks in the OJHL Junior A and lost 3-2, but I watched the game and was very good and very solid. And I have a very special place in my heart for Lincoln because he's a kid that I got at U16 AAA and was a very introverted, nervous kid. And he's definitely come out of his shell a lot the last 2.5 years. And I think, and I said this to you before, is I think he's the kid that has improved the most I've ever seen in 2 years. And I'm very proud of him. And so congrats, Link. I know you listen to this, so rock on, buddy.
That's what I love to hear. You know what? As long as you don't get pulled in the 3-3 tie in your first ever junior game, you're doing better than me. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Hang on. On that note, my first ever junior start, we were 0-6. I was playing Stony Creek Warriors in GOJHL, now newly formed GOHL. So we can't call it the GOAT anymore.
I like that.
It's the Greater Ontario Hockey League.
That rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. So my first start ever, we were 0-6 on a 6-game losing streak. I lost 3-2 in overtime. I gave 3 goals on 32 shots. Got our first point of the year. Did not get another minute for 11 weeks. And at that point, we were 1-13. So shout out to me for grinding and persevering.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Like we say, you always, like, subscribe, rate it. It helps. But most importantly, share this podcast with someone, a hockey parent, a goalie, coach, someone that's going to get some value in this. That does the most for us because we like to spread the good word, spread the goalie coaching gospel, as they would say. All right. See everyone next week.